for me, John Brzenk, when everyone thought that he was not doing what he should have been doing social media wise, just like always, he's smarter than everyone else. And he waits to the best time to dip in. With Dubai, this big thing is taking place. John waited back. Let Michael Todd and Devon be the guinea pigs. John has just jumped right in 6 months, in my opinion, has his channel on the way to that $5,000 revenue a month, is the hottest thing again in the history of the world when it comes to arm wrestling because of his fan favor across the seas, right?
Let me say one thing there to validate what you're saying. On Instagram, John has 25,000 followers and I have 100,000 followers. When John makes a post, he gets 500 comments. When I make a post, I get 2 comments. I mean, people want to fucking engage with this guy.
Yes. And a reason I think is because of how much content that they have that he's been unavailable. Comment, right?
Right.
And you think,
and he's cool. He's really cool in a real dorky way. He's so cool.
Man, listen, to me, the guy is a complete alien, right? He can 100 shift shaper, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Is whatever he needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, he's beautiful. Like the motherfucker looks like I don't even know what happened now. I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
Boom. The man's back.
Yeah.
You get rid of them gray little sideburn things he's got rocking, and if he could get his hair cut from anybody else besides Renee, this dude looks like he's 32.
That's what you mean. Like he's just a 57-year-old man and he's still just beautiful.
Fucking listen. And as someone who has been around him in some pretty compromised situations, like shirt off, fucking wrestling, got this motherfucker in the headlock, and just to have him reach his hand up and fucking fish hook me and almost rip my face off. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And he's like, well, get off me. You know, like I have experienced things with that man that, you know, he's fucking different. Like the dude's different in every facet of life. He's smarter than everyone too.
Right.
In such a patient way. And he's so good at acting so oblivious and having you explain everything in detail. And then it's all that information. All right. But yeah, his retard strength when he panics is pretty drastic.
Does he have any chance against Devon?
Oh, absolutely, bro. Like, absolutely. Not only does he has a chance, he's an overwhelming favorite, in my opinion.
Really?
I mean, yeah, dude. John has never lost when he cared and he dictated the arrangements. And that's just the reality. I mean, the dude's going to win. And you're going to see, and then not after he wins, you're going to run, if you really trace back and you ignore the social media, if you ignore the Instagram followers, you ignore the YouTube followers, you ignore the celebrity of Devon Larratt, and you really just get to the athlete, right? Just the athlete, you'll find that it's not going to be that close, and you shouldn't have thought it was going to be. It probably could have been closer if John has sold out and I guess listened to the YouTubers. So he feels threatened, right? Which is a bad sign. It's a bad thing for Devon because you're going to see a super aggressive Hail Mary type of guy round one. And as long as he doesn't, the only way he's ever really lost is because he's so comfortable that he allows you to pull the way you want. Right? And he's like, yeah, go ahead, bro. I mean, I can come back next round. He now doesn't feel he can do that with Devon. His age, Devon's size, the world we live in, social media that has crowned Devon, the YouTuber, the best arm wrestler. When in reality, he has, I don't want to talk about his resume because there's nothing wrong with Devon's resume. The problem is that he's arm wrestling some person who his resume is ridiculous. And I know that there's no difference in him. He's the same guy right now that he was at 38. Same dude. And that's just because, you know, he takes freaking great care of himself. He's an absolute alien. And he's going to win, and he's going to do it pretty aggressively. Now,
you mean John bet on himself that
he's going to win one, because that bet was, it was also, you know, if he bet that, he got money too. And he thinks that that's, you know, he's a gambler. So
yeah, he is a gambler.
He's such a tight gambler. He may not bet on himself to win 4-2 or 5-1.
For those of you who don't know John Brzenk, everything Travis is saying, I know it sounds like he might be exaggerating, but he's actually understating everything. We would, and I'm sure Travis has plenty of stories. We would go somewhere where there's an arm wrestling match in a casino. John would walk by and just sit down at a poker table, and 3 hours later have a few $1,000. The guy is good at fucking everything he touches, and his poker face is nuts. Like it is nuts. He's impossible to read. What's really interesting is if some of them are really long, like they're 1.5 or 2 hour calls. But usually in the beginning, Devon's like really fucking with them. And then by the end of the call, you see John starting to get in Devon's head. And it is when John starts to get aggressive and sarcastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be really terrible for people to state their resume match for match. I mean, because here's the thing. Devon is so, he does not have the paperwork. He owns, right? But he's going to have to show me, because I've been in the room with both of those guys, and I would compete with Devon Larratt 1,000,000 times before I would fuck with John Brzenk. And I'm talking about in life, right? Like, let's take 10 or 12 categories that would make you the most well-rounded person in the world. And even though I know Devon's probably extraordinary at a lot of those things, I'll take him. You can take John. John's the best version of himself he's ever been. And he's going to show us that you can be the best version of yourself in arm wrestling at 57 years old. But so what John has to do is now what his response could be if he's retarded, he'll let Devon have something. If he's smarter than retarded but still dumb, then he's going to fight back and try to take something, which will then start the clock, right? Now, when I tell you that you could go to a CrossFit affiliate gathering and catch some of the best guys snatching for fun on the platform, and they might be over there for 3 hours, and there might be a psycho that stayed there the whole 8 hours. I'm telling you that Devon Larratt will stay at the arm wrestling table for 3 weeks and never leave it, and let the best guys come in a slow pull, contracted situation for days. So I'm interested to see, but I do think that John is balanced and patient, and he has no weaknesses, that it's really hard to do that King's move. I think the King's move is designed more for a guy that only has a couple shots, and once you can dodge him, then you can outlast him. I think John's too skilled to really lose. Now so yeah, I think you're going to see a dominant performance from the greatest American athlete that has ever lived.
Devon looks, as strong as he is, he looks like he could get broken too. I mean,
I am so jealous of those two people. I have so much competitive hatred for both of them people. It just so happens that I have a lot more love and admiration for John Brzenk, that I never creep to that level, right? The water level of admiration never gets below sea level, where all the toxic stuff is. But make no mistake about it, with Devon Larratt, it remains at a very toxic level. Yeah, I don't appreciate his followers. I don't like his numbers. I don't like the whole being the fucking face of arm wrestling. So that way people don't say, oh, Travis is a hater, or yes. Exactly what it is. So everything that I'm telling you is under that premise that I hate Devon Larratt and I love John Brzenk.